Welcome to the Gus Alba Perspective, a video cast that's earmarked to embrace abundance and gratitude over the mindset of fear and scarcity. That's a type of mindset that will paralyze you. And what we want to do is to embrace things that will edify us and help us along the lines of leading our best life forward. The topic that I'd like to touch on today is uttering things without thinking them through. Have you ever had the instance where you say something that you know you shouldn't have said and it stings? And if left to fester, that can create a great deal of damage. But it's very important that we recognize when we are wrong, that we've erred, and to acknowledge that error. Words, in fact, can be exceedingly powerful. And sometimes words can be more powerful than actions themselves. The saying that goes, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, doesn't really apply. Sometimes words can be exceedingly painful and exceedingly hurtful. And having a particular attention to what we say in certain moments or certain instances is critical. I think that we've all been faulted with maybe in a rash manner saying something because either we're hard pressed for time, we're irritable because maybe the things on our plate are too much, and now we take it out on that individual that is the easiest target, and that's typically the individual that comes in within our immediate radius and gravitational pull. And then we can either exert a lot of negativity and spew that venom onto someone else, or we can actually bring ourselves back and have the self-discipline to not necessarily do so. Part of the problem, though, is that as humans, we don't always have that break. And we can all be faulted for sometimes being uncharitable. And by uncharitable, I'm speaking about speaking either brusquely or not necessarily saying the right thing. Oftentimes, as a psychiatrist, I see patients that come in, and if not taking their medication, for example, individuals that suffer with mood disorders can be exceedingly irritable. They can be very impulsive. They can lack that break that our frontal lobe generally provides and won't measure themselves. And so they'll say things that are actually quite hurtful. I've seen the offspring of parents who have all this venom thrown on them by, again, their child that is angry and oftentimes is wanting to make other people feel that same degree of instability and anger that is boiling inside of them. And the easiest targets are generally those people that care for you the most and love you. I think from an individual perspective, we can all track that line of reasoning as well. Sometimes, if we are feeling frustrated, it's very easy to lash out on the people that are closest and dearest to us. And I'd love to say that I'm exempt, but I'm not. We all, as humans, tend to do this. The most important thing, though, is being aware and having an awareness that if we do something wrong, that we acknowledge it and that we take corrective measures so that A, that type of action doesn't repeat itself, but B, that the person that we might have hurt through the wrong type of terminology can readily hear and understand the sense of contrition that we have for having uttered something that we shouldn't have. If we don't do that, unfortunately, that creates this barrier between communication and people that shouldn't exist. It sometimes creates resentment. It sometimes creates this sense of betrayal in the person that's been the recipient of bad words being uttered to them. And like I said, sometimes, at the present time, I clearly see a lot of people that come in and based on the current status of legislature in different states. Here in California, for example, different substances are not only legalized, but they're encouraged to be utilized because the governmental agencies want additional funding resources. And obviously, taxation of different substances is certainly at the core of things. But the reason I bring that up is that unfortunately, those substances sometimes drop the ability of the individual to be aware of the fact that they are saying something that is hurtful. And I've seen this far too many times, and certainly have also been an individual that has actually created this, right? And I've also been the recipient of that. And when you experience that, you're taken aback by it. Now, gratitude is having the awareness and the sensitivity to know and to understand and to be able to predicate that if something wrong has been stated or said or uttered, if something that was uncomplimentary or foolish or impulsive, um, that we at least own that and that we affirm the individual that may have been hurt by that utterance and that we not repeat that type of action in the near future. The flip side of that is obviously then utilizing rationalization or excuses to excuse bad behavior. And the one thing that we don't want to do is create additional factors that divide us or separate us. And words can certainly be either healing or destructive in nature. I thank you for joining us on this segment of the Gus Alva Perspective videocast that's earmarked to embrace gratitude and abundance. Thank you.